Ronnie O'Sullivan, now he knows he just needs this frame. It's 1-1 in this 14th frame. And Ronnie O'Sullivan.
One.
The black into the bottom pocket. That's the cue ball around the table. It's a wry smile there because you can see at least 2 or 3 shots on from where that cue ball is finished. Perfect judgment. It's not an easy shot. Perfect angle, didn't even touch the jaws. A blue for the center pocket. That
40.
And just try to keep picking off the loose ones. And there's one of them.
15.
Going for the yellow. Changes his mind. He's not comfortable with that shot. Always hard for players to get good control over the cue when they have to use the extensions. In the end, decided to go for the black and was able to sink it.
22. 23.
So break now of 23. Ronnie O'Sullivan needs this frame to take the championship. Mark Bennett of Wales.
If he
is to get that, he's got to keep sinking the black after the reds. That time I had to take the blue.
36.
And if my maths are correct, that means now that he can't reach the 140 total, so it does mean 140 in this tournament. Ronnie O'Sullivan, I would think, at the moment is more interested in winning this
43.
frame and picking up a cheque for £60,000. Cuts the red into the centre pocket. A break now of 44. And John Higgins must be wondering if he's going to get a chance at the table. Into Paul Hunter, 9-5 in the final. Runner-up in the Grand Prix at Bournemouth, where he lost to Dominic Dale of Wales, 9-6 in the final.
50. 51.
Break now of 51. Ronnie O'Sullivan runs
58.
out the winner here. It'll be his 6th ranking event of his career.
59.
And his 12th major title of his career.
$65. 66.
Delicate putt there on the blue to the centre pocket.
71. 72.
Well, even this partisan Scottish crowd now, I think, realise that Ronnie O'Sullivan is on the way to lifting the trophy.
77.
A break now of 77.
78.
And although I think most of the crowd were trying to support John Higgins, I think they would agree today that Ronnie O'Sullivan has certainly taken his chances.
85.
Break now of 85. And just the colours left on the table. I'll start with the yellow. Brings the cue ball up for a shot on the green. There's always one wag in the crowd, isn't there? Well, I think he might have snookered himself there on the brown. It's going to be nearly an impossible shot. But I don't think it's going to make much difference at this stage. Well, he had a go, didn't he? And John Higgins concedes. And Ronnie O'Sullivan wins his second major title of the season, following up his success at the Liverpool and Victoria UK Championship. And he beats John Higgins by 9 frames to 5. And John Higgins, runner-up yet again for the 3rd time this season. But there is the Scottish Open trophy. And Ronnie O'Sullivan pretty much...
I just worry a little bit about this stage of the match with somebody like Quinton Hann, because quite clearly he is in very good form. He won his first match 5-0, and in this match so far he's only 2 or 3 shots away from leading in the match. I'm not saying he could be 3-0, but he certainly could be 2-1 in front. And you know, I'm just a bit worried in case he throws the towel in. And that safety shot there was played very lackadaisical, and in his facial demeanour has changed since the first frame. You know, you can't bully somebody like O'Sullivan, and you've got to make sure you don't get bullied when you play him.
Well, it's not very often these days that someone from England beats someone from Australia at any kind of sport, so I suppose we should be grateful.
Yep.
Plenty of pom bashing goes on in the sporting fields around the world these days. And a bit of Aussie bashing.
Played to get the full ball cannon on the red. Only kissed the red half ball, so end of break. Played the full ball cannon, you see, cut it half ball. Surely he's not planning to get this in. Oh, the cheeky little devil. That is unbelievable. How many players in the world, knowing
16.
he was going to leave a red on, would have took that red on?
17.
More to the point, Anthony would have potted it.
And another very aggressive shot there. His
24.
pot success rate is up to 96%. A good standard is 90. And we noticed there that Quinton Hahn's success rate is 88%, and he could go 4-0 behind in 5 minutes' time.
That's another illuminating stat as well. Average score per visit, almost 40 for O'Sullivan. That's good at billiards, let alone snooker.
33.
Now, will he play the arcing screw shot here into the pack? He wants to miss the cannon on the first red, and he needs to arc them into the pack. He doesn't want to hit the first red above the black. Now watch the cue ball here. Now he's caught the first red. He's still okay though. He played to arc it. You saw the cue ball bend then. He wanted to, now watch the cue ball, he wanted it to bend. See how it's bended late? He wanted it to bend round the first 2 reds, and that would have opened all the pack. As it is though, it's still pretty good.
41.
I know it's early doors, but that is all reds and blacks.
48. 49.
There's the magic figure at the bottom of your screens.
56.
He's done it once before here on
57.
Sky Sports at last year's Regal Welsh Open. That was a magnificent effort. I just wonder whether we're going to see a repeat. He's made 3 in total, all on
64.
television, Willie. He's not frightened of it.
He's going to have to play the more difficult red here, the red that's available at the bottom of the pack. He would be kissing the pack too thick. Yes, he wants to go for the 147. He'd have had to play for blue or bought colour off that red. So this time he needs the
65.
angle. He'd rather finish slightly low on this bottom red than high. He doesn't want to go into the pack off the red. Now that's a better shot.
72.
The frame after this red will be safe. And now
73.
we can sit, watch and hope.
$80. 81.
Oh, certainly a cannon going to have to be played here. He'd love to kiss the 2 reds on the pink spot. Whether he can play that or not. Yes, that's perfect. What a shot.
88. 89.
It's time for the palms to start sweating again. Can we see history? Remember, Stephen Maguire made a 147 in the
96.
pre-TV stages of this tournament. There's never
97.
been 2 147s in the same world ranking event, Willie. Will this be the first occasion that magic achievement has been arrived at? Well, there's the century. The crowd expectant, and so are we.
I just cannot believe how easy he
105.
makes this game look sometimes. 147s are almost an impossibility. These guys these days make them look
112.
so easy.
113.
So this is the stage now where he only has to be careful here.
120.
Quite obviously the only problem appears to be brown to blue.
122.
He'll play to get onto the blue into the black pocket. So this is now the key shot.
125.
This is the key shot. He won't play the cannon. He'll just leave the long blue into the black pocket. Doesn't want to be straight on it though. He wants to be slightly off straight.
129.
He's come too far. This is missable. Get in. It's there.
2 pots away from £5,000, the keys to a Vauxhall Vectra.
This is magnificent. Absolutely wonderful. One of the best 147s I have ever seen.
Pure magic.
Of the Regal Scottish Masters tournament. 13th frame. Ronnie O'Sullivan going ahead. I should say the 15th frame. Beg your pardon. Slip of the tongue. Before the break, he'd been leading by 8 frames to 5. In frame 14, Stephen Hendry took command despite a break of 52 by Ronnie O'Sullivan to close the gap back to 2 at 8-6, but still needing the 3 remaining frames if he is to win this tournament.
Well, I think people might have thought he played the snooker behind the yellow, but he attempted the pot into the middle. He'll certainly be behind the yellow now.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 1.
Stephen looking to come off one cushion. To the side of the pack has hit the pink, I think.
Foul and a miss, 6.
Yes, well, a miss has been called, but there's no way Ronnie will have this put back. An easy red starter.
Oh, that's the last thing that Stephen wanted in this 15th frame. Is this to be Ronnie O'Sullivan's day? Already with the Champions Cup to his name this season.
Nine.
He's reached at least the quarter-final in all 4 tournaments so far this year.
16.
He was beaten at that stage in the British Open by Peter Ebdon, who went on to win it.
70.
And in all the other 3 tournaments, that's the Champions Cup, the Grand Prix, and now this Regal Scottish Masters, he has reached the final.
Well, he's certainly had a good season so far. He's featured in the business end of most of the tournaments that have been played. And the way he's been playing, I'm sure he's going to be in a lot more before the end of the season.
22.
As I've mentioned, the UK Championship, the next ranking event, is just around the corner.
23.
Yes, and big points at stake in the UK, of course, one of the major ranking tournaments of the season outside of the World Championships itself.
Yes, in fact, second to the World Championship.
30.
And although he won't threaten Mark Williams's lead at the top, we have mentioned earlier that his provisional position is up to number 2 now.
31.
And a good performance in the UK would obviously consolidate that. But you know, Mike, Stephen Hendry must be smarting at the moment, not only so far as this particular position here at Motherwell is concerned, but also for the fact that temporarily, perhaps, he's down to number 5.
Well, you say temporarily, I think that's probably the right word. I think we'll see Stephen kick up a gear during the next few months, and he's certainly played reasonably well this week, Stephen, although he's been a little bit more inconsistent than he would have liked in this final. He's knocked a couple of good centuries in, but he's also missed 1 or 2, and I'm sure that he'll go away and he'll come back even stronger.
Meanwhile, Ronnie here just not looking as though he's on it. I'm not sure whether he can get to the red that's immediately in line with, well, more or less in line with the black and the blue. He's had a look at it. I don't think he can get past the pink. If he can, it's very... Well, yes, he can. There you see the angle. He can just get it, but not enough to pot it in the right corner.
And I think he's left Stephen 1 there to the top left, Mike. A little bit careless from Ronnie. He was hoping to get that cue ball tight on that top cushion. Half chance here, but Stephen's 51 points behind. Got to be careful. Oh, it was close. Now I think he's left Ronnie 1 to the same pocket. Just look at this on the replay. It looks all the way, but just slightly wide of that corner pocket. I think Ronnie's just attempting 1 to the same corner, or he's thinking about it. Only problem is he'll be cannon into another red, not guaranteed position on the colour. And he's already 51 the lead. It's not him that needs to take the risks. But as ever, positive, great pot, and negotiated the cue ball perfectly on the next red. or I should say on the next colour, to get onto the next red.
Well, he could live to remember that shot as possibly the shot that took him over the finishing line, because with these reds spread the way they are,
9.
there's really no reason why Ronnie can't now manoeuvre himself with the next few shots into a tournament winning lead. Already 60 points to the good.
That was a great shot as well. Played perfectly. Just a couple more reds then, and he's there.
17.
And well, he's played well in patches this week, Ronnie. We haven't really seen the best of him, in my opinion, anyway. But well, if he can win like this, and,
25.
Well, sadly for us and the rest of the viewers, perhaps his best was in the pre-televised stage when he beat Jimmy White 5-3 and produced those 3 lightning centuries.
32.
But at least that, I think, set him up for what was to come.
33.
yes, I'm sure Stephen will be disappointed. He's had 1 or 2 good breaks in this final, but in the end wasn't able to stay with Ronnie.
38. 39.
And he knows he's home and dry now, and that's always a nice feeling inside.
Yes, his second tournament victory of the season, following his Champions Cup success right at the start.
44.
And let's just remind ourselves, he did in fact
45.
beat Stephen on the way to taking that title. They came up against each other at semi-final stage, and he beat Stephen 5-2 on that occasion. But in just a few moments, it's going to be Ronnie who lifts the cheque for 62,000, taking this trophy for the second time. Stephen having already won it 3 times.
54.
Yes, and I think on the day's play, a worthy winner, Mike.
Yes, he's cleaned up when Stephen has made the odd untypical error, and that's been the difference. We've seen some super breaks from Stephen to win 5 of those 6 frames that he's taken.
63.
But this, the 9th frame for Ronnie, is a nice way for him to wrap this tournament up.
68.
And I think even the partisan Scotsman people around this tournament venue will applaud this man. They are indeed doing just that, as Ronnie O'Sullivan clinches a 9 frames to 6 victory over the Scotsman Stephen Hendry to take the 2000 Regal Scottish Masters for the second time in his career. Ronnie O'Sullivan then saying cheers to the crowd, thanking them for acknowledging his efforts. So, all smiles from Ronnie as he takes the trophy and that £62,000 cheque. Ian Doyle there on the right of our picture, the tournament promoter who began this back in 1989. A successful tournament and a success for Ronnie O'Sullivan. I hope you've enjoyed it. From me and Mike Hallett, goodbye.